to a new YouTube video. I am going to work on telling you how I make my grocery list and keep on our budget. So today, it's just one of those little simple things that I do and how I go about making my grocery list and staying on our budget. So our budget's about $500 a month is our goal. Some months are a little crazy, like this month we needed pull-ups and toilet paper and like a bunch of random things and ran out of Ziploc bags completely. So you have to be aware that like some of those things may not make your budget. Now, a lot of people do like just a food budget and then just like those like toiletries and essentials and stock ups. That's fine. We just like to keep all that under 500 as our goal. Doesn't always happen and that's okay. So, the other thing, I was watching another YouTube video the other day and she was talking about a budget. So everybody has different words and different thoughts for the word budget. So I want you to think about what works best for your family and then, you know, make that monetary amount that where your goal is and then where you're coming from. So I had a goal of $500. It's $125 a week for 4 weeks. So it's kind of like, that's kind of our thought process. Now we're only 3 people right now. We'll be 4 soon, but we're only 3 people. So it's not totally not feasible. I mean, it's not unfeasible. It's not like, it's not like crazy amount of food or crazy amount of money, but it's still a pretty gracious budget, I think. Yeah, granted, there's certain things that we would always want to eat and different things that like, oh, this would be fantastic to have, but sometimes you just have to, make it work. So when I am making my grocery budget or my grocery list through my budget, I do look at my budget. I think, okay, where are we at? What do we need to be at? How much money do we have left? Okay, so that's my number one. So I'm going to be aware of the amount of money that we have. It's the beginning of the month, sweet. But what do we have? So I'm going to go to both my refrigerators. We got a brand new refrigerator because ours was like kind of on the fritz. So we put it in the garage. So we have 2 refrigerators right now, and then we have the 2 freezers of those fridges, and then we have a chest freezer. Our chest freezer is pretty empty. I'm not going to lie. So I've kind of kept that pretty empty, and I've actually been using a lot of stuff out of it because we kind of got to a point where it was too. So I've kind of kept that pretty empty, and I've actually been using a lot of stuff out of it because we kind of got to a point where it was too full. So I'm going to go to all those things and my pantry, and I'm going to look through everything that I have. I knew that I had, chicken in the freezer. So I know I don't need to buy chicken when I'm at Sam's. Now, sometimes I'm at Sam's and it's like, I'll just buy chicken because I love their chicken. It's a huge pack. It feeds our family for an entire week plus. And I can like make some freezer meals from it too sometimes. So I just want to be aware of like, okay, where am I at in this month and where do I need to be? And then I was doing a really good job of making a plan for a whole month, but lately that's just not been in my brain. So I do kind of come up with like, okay, I know that we have cheese sauce in the fridge, so we probably need to buy chicken. We already have rice and I bought peppers last week, so we need to make a roast compollo. So I do a lot of that. So I think of like what we have and find those things that we have. And then I use that to make my list. So when I'm looking at that, I'm like, okay, well, we need chicken. Well, we have chicken, so I don't have to worry about that. So I have all those things. I don't have to buy anything for that. So this is how some weeks I don't even go grocery shopping because I've doubled up on things and bought bigger amounts of things, and then I still have them. I had potatoes this week that had to be used instantly. And so then I kind of just searched through recipes and realized I had a can of cream of mushroom soup that I was never going to use. So I was like, oh, might as well throw that in. So the recipe that I found called for cream of chicken. Don't have that. So that's what I did. I know my husband doesn't always like soup as a meal. So I also had all those sub-frozen meals that I like, sub-frozen meats and cheeses together that I had already had. So I grabbed that out and threw it on a sub roll that I had made last week when I made bread. So you just kind of have to be aware of like what you have. So like, that's what I would say. Number one, you know, set that monetary amount, set that budget. And that's going to vary for every family. And then be aware of what you have. Now, I have done some research on this topic and I have watched so many videos and I have gotten so much help, and none of it seems to make my brain work, if that makes sense. So I am working on a printable for this, but I have found that you really don't need one. I know that kind of sounds totally backwards, right? And eventually I probably will come up with like a nice big wellness like bundle so that you can have all these things in one and you know what you're doing and how it's the best way to go about that. But right now, I want you to just think about those two things. I want you to think about where your budget is, think about what you have, and then think about what you want to eat. It's not helpful if you have 5 brand new recipes and then everything hits the fan at once and your kid is sick and the dog threw up on the carpet and the world is coming to an end and now you have in-laws coming in. Like, don't overwhelm yourself. If you're gonna try a new recipe, I would say try one a week. That's what I've been doing. It's been working really well. Throwing in one brand new recipe. And usually it's been a crock pot recipe because that's kind of a jam right now. So I want you to think about like how you can make it simple for yourself, and then what can meal prep, what can you meal prep? What can you prep a little bit extra of, or what can you make it a little bit easier on yourself? So lately you've seen my videos, my video from last week. While the chicken was cooking, I cut all the romaine lettuce. So then I had extra romaine lettuce ready to go for my husband's lunches for the week. So make it easy. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't stress yourself out. It's not worth it. It's just not. So let's focus on that. So budget, make that monetary amount, figure out where you're at, where you need to be. And don't go from, you know, $1,700 to $300. It's just not plausible. It's just not going to work. Your brain is not going to, your brain's just going to shut down. So be aware how much you're spending and then go to where you want to be. Then figure out what you have. Use what you have, figure out what you need. If you want to try a new recipe, cool. Do you have any of those ingredients? If you want to try a new recipe, look for the ingredients you have and then Google those ingredients and see what comes up. Simple. And then make it simple. Don't overwhelm yourself. You know, don't get super like, oh, we're going to eat completely healthy this week. You're not. You're just not. You're going to get mad. You're going to go get takeout, and then you defeated the whole purpose of your budget. So think about that. My friends, I know this is quick and simple, but it is what it is. It's easy. It's not like this big stressful thing. It does sound like it, but it's not. So my grocery list ended up being like maple syrup because I knew I had pancakes and I knew I needed to eat those up. Gallons of buck bags because we were like clearly out. And then that haul will be in my next video next week, my Sam's Club haul. It's a pretty big Sam's Club haul. My husband went with us and we just had a little bit of extra wiggle room this month. So we did have to get a few extra things. And so I hope you enjoy that video next week. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, comment how you're making your grocery list, comment your budget, comment what you need help with. That's what I'm here for. That's what I love to do. I'm also a nutrition coach and a meal prep coach really at this point because that's my bread and butter. So I want you to tell me like, what are you meal prepping this week? What are you doing with your budget? And like, how are you keeping it so low, or what do you need help with? Because I'm here for it. Friends, I hope you enjoyed this video today. Super easy, super quick. like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.